千里之行，始于足下. A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we delve deeply into the Daodejing by Lao Tzu. Once upon a time, in ancient China, there was this young, intelligent, inquisitive disciple. He studied the Tao under a great sage. So as he learned from the sutras in his studies, he came across this concept, 善有善报,恶有恶报. And it's a concept that puzzled him. The idea he knew was that, well, the Tao moved in circular fashion. So all things in existence moved in that same circular fashion, including our interactions with other people. Therefore, goodness directed outward would be coming back as karmic rewards. Negativity directed outward would also come back as negative consequences. But he was puzzled by this. So he went looking for the Tao sage. He found the Tao sage outside in the garden. So he approached. He said, Master, I am studying the concept of 善有善报,恶有恶报. I understand it. I understand what it's saying. But I'm not sure it is always true in life. The Tao sage asked, when would it not be true? Give me some examples. So the disciple said, well, Master, I think we have all seen plenty of instances where good people suffer a tragic fate. And also we have seen just as many instances where bad people enjoy the good life, right? Free from the consequences of their actions. And in fact, Master, even for myself, I know there are times when I try to do something good. I try to do a good deed with the best of intentions. What do I get? Well, I don't always get rewarded. I don't always get recognition or praise. No. A lot of times it backfires on me. Sometimes it brings me trouble that I totally do not deserve. So this concept, 善有善报,恶有恶报, it seems dubious. It seems uncertain. So then the Tao sage said, yes, indeed, that is how things can look in our human perception. But if you look through the eyes of the Tao, you may be able to see life in a totally different way. The Tao sage pointed to the small water fountain in the garden. Clear and pure water from a nearby stream is diverted into it. The Tao sage said, look at this water fountain. Think about how human life can be compared to a container of water. Think of the amount of water in the container as, blessings, good fortune, prosperity. The first thing to think about, the first thing to consider is that we all come into this world with varying amounts of blessings, or what people could call luck, with different amounts of water, so to speak. Does that make sense? The disciple said, yes, Master. Some people are born into wealth, affluence, so they live their lives without worries. their every need is attended to. At the same time, other people are born into terrible circumstances, full of misery and hardship. So it's pretty obvious to me, Master. Human beings are just different. So we're just all different. That's right. The Tao sage nodded. The way it works in the Tao is that when we do good things, we add water to the container, thus increasing the goodness in our lives. Now, the reverse is also true. When we do things that are contrary to our conscience, we don't add water, quite the contrary. We drill holes in the container, so water leaks out. We end up with less goodness, a decreasing amount of goodness. And lastly, we come into this world not just with different amounts of water, but also different inflows and outflows that will vary from one person to the next. Now, because of that, it is entirely possible that when a good person does something good, but the rewards have yet to appear, because it may take a while. If he started out with not a whole lot of water in his container, it's gonna take a while, perhaps years, to really fill up the container, to have the goodness manifest in his life. And what about someone who has done horrible things? Of course, if they don't have a whole lot of water in the first place, and they have created these huge leaks, then obviously that is when we see the negative karmic consequences quickly, perhaps right away, perhaps immediately, a karmic payback. So the disciple said, Master, I think I begin to understand. You are saying it is also possible that the horrible person still has a lot of water in his container. And the Tao sage said, yes. When that is the case, despite the many holes he has drilled in his container, it is going to take a while for all the water to leak out. No, make no mistake. The leakage is definitely occurring. It's just that we, as mortal human beings, we cannot see it, so we cannot know how long it will take for the negative consequences to manifest themselves. And the disciple said, perhaps, as you said, Master, that it will take years. The Tao sage said, perhaps, or decades, even lifetimes. When someone dies, his earthly debts are written off, but his karmic debts continue on. There is no getting away from the universal and eternal balance of the Tao. Sooner or later, in the long run, everything balances out. Then the disciple said, Master, so the saying, 善有善报,恶有恶报, it's correct after all. For positive actions, the positive rewards. For negative actions, the negative consequences. The Lao Zi said, yes, but it is only the first half of the truth. Let's add the second half to make it more complete. 不是不报, it is not that there are no consequences. 时候未到, it is only that the time has not yet arrived. Finally, the disciple understood and said, what if people change for the better? Can their karmic debts be forgiven? And the Tao sage said, it's possible if they're willing to make amends. It is, however, unlikely because most people are not capable of significant changes within a single lifetime. Those who study the Tao stand a better chance. They may be able to change, but only if they fully understand the teachings and apply them to life. So that is the story of 善有善报,恶有恶报. It's depicting a picture where people coming into this world with varying amounts of water. You know, there's the poverty-stricken, there's the Bill Gates of the world. So in that material regard, in that material sense, it seems as if we are born not the same. But what about egalitarianism? What it so happens that our potential to make changes, what the Buddhists would call Buddha nature, that is clear across exactly the same from one individual to the next. It is equally great in the poorest of the poor as it is in the wealthiest of the wealthiest. So let's take a look at the two additional lines that the sage added to the discussion. 不是不报,时候未到. Let's break them down, same way that we did before. So the pinyin, you will see here, 不是不报. So this is relatively close to the way that it sounds in Mandarin. So literally, you have a character for 不, which is not, is, and then not again, and then the character for reply, report, response. What does that mean? It is not that there are no consequences. So response will be consequences. It's like the reply or the response from karma to individual human actions. Then the next line, 时候未到. Here's the pinyin. And again, the HOU, that's not how, that's not Hugh, like Houston, that's ho, like HOH, 时候未到. So breaking it down character by character, the first two characters together mean time. So the first two characters mean time, and then we have a character meaning not yet, and then arrive. So all together, string all of them together, we get, it is only that the time has not yet arrived. 不是不报,时候未到. It is not that there are no consequences, it is only that the time has not yet arrived. Now, we can make the picture more complete. At the top of the slide, we have 善有善报,恶有恶报. Now at the bottom, we can have 不是不报,时候未到. Okay, now in relating this particular concept and telling this story, storytellers of the Tao tradition like to also go into the next thing, which is about how to improve one's life. So as I said, the Tao teachers who tell the story will often follow up with suggestions on the primary metaphor used in the story, which is about increasing the water, plugging the leaks in life. So I want to present them to you as well. 3 ways to increase the water and plug the leaks. First, 学习. Specifically, in this context, so these two characters mean to study. And here, specifically, it's about studying the Tao, studying the sutras, studying the Tao teachings. When we do that, we stand on the shoulder of giants. The giants in this case meaning the ancient sages, so we can look farther by standing on the shoulder of giants, because they are the ones who have figured out the path to enlightenment. They are the ones who figured out the best way to live. So there's no need for us to reinvent the wheel. They have collected their wisdom together in these sutras to share with us. So the first key to increasing the water, plugging the leaks, is to study the sutras, to study the Tao. The second thing that is often suggested by teachers in the Tao tradition is 感恩, which means the practice of gratitude. Never take anything for granted. So if you think about all the people in your life, the people that you love, the people that are your friends, your family, never take them for granted. And oftentimes in the Tao, the suggestion is that if you think about your parents, well, perhaps your parents have made a lot of sacrifices for you. Don't take that for granted. Be grateful for that. And then the third way to increase water and plug the leaks is 突破, which means breakthrough. In this case, personal breakthrough. Personal breakthrough in the path of Tao cultivation. Now, this can be extremely challenging, and I have seen the challenge myself. Some say they practice humility or compassion, but their actions do not reflect their ideals. So I want to give everyone fair warning. You may also find this rather challenging at a personal level. Let me share with you what I mean by that. So one of the important challenges that I have is humility. That is, it's very important to me to practice humility. I know that I need it. I know that it's a must. So because of that, whenever I visit a house of worship, a place of worship, no matter what it is, it could be a church, a temple, synagogue, a mosque, whatever place I find myself in that has the traditional spiritual or religious significance, I want to express my respect to that place. Now, I know that religions in general have been a mixed bag throughout human history. Religions reflect on human beings. Human beings are good and bad. Same thing with religions. We human beings are capable of incredible miracles, but also incredible disastrous behavior. We all know that. Same with religions because they reflect us. But I choose to honor and respect the positive aspects of religions, every religion, regardless of what that may be, because every religious tradition has things that it has done for the betterment of mankind. Therefore, it's never a problem for me to pay respects to any religious practice. Now, because of that, because of my own philosophical leaning and the people that I talk to, hang out with, I am aware of those who say that they practice humility, but then when it comes time to prostrate themselves, to give a gesture of respect, to lower themselves, they will suddenly not be so humble anymore. Oh, no. I will never be subservient to any religious figure. Well, it's the way that you represent the thought in your mind. For me, the gesture of respect is a beautiful gesture. But to them, that same gesture may be, I lower myself, I become subservient to you, I become follower, I subscribe to everything you say, etc. To me, that is a challenge to the practice of humility. You say that you are humble, but can you actually lower yourself? It's the same thing with compassion. So for me, I know that in this world, I want to minimize my impact. I know that I want to reduce the killing that is done in my name. And I know that when it comes to factory farming, when it comes to the slaughter of animals, I don't want to do it myself. And I don't want other people to do it on my behalf. And therefore, I want to reduce it to the minimum that I can. Now, you know what's coming. I know I have friends who think of themselves as compassionate individuals, but they will not do anything to reduce the killing that is done indirectly for them. This can be extremely challenging, not a comfortable thought to dwell on. But as long as we're talking about personal breakthrough, I want to challenge you with these thoughts. And it isn't just all of us who are now talking about this together. It is also, after this is all recorded and posted on YouTube, this is going to be reaching a wider audience. So not an easy subject. I know there will be people who will be offended by that. And I still have to speak my truth. 3 more ways. Oh, you thought the 3 ways were it? No, there are actually 3 more. Let me talk about those. To increase water and plug the leaks in your life, teachers in the Tao tradition would also talk about 让步, taking a step back. Let the other person go first. Let the other person win. Why not? In an argument, frankly, that'd be a foolish thing for a Tao cultivator to get into, whether you call it an argument or a debate, because a Tao cultivator realizes you don't have to be right. You don't have to let everybody in the world know how right you are. You can easily back away, which is the real victory, and you can easily let the other person win because you are bigger than the contention. You are bigger than the arguments or debate. Then I want to do one more. 布施, the virtue of generosity. So in Hindu culture and subsequently in Buddhism and all throughout the eastern part of the world, throughout Asia, giving alms to the begging bowl of the Buddhist monk. Here, it's extrapolated beyond that. 布施 is to practice the virtue of generosity. It is to be giving. And when I say giving, practicing the Tao of giving, it is to give in all possible ways, not necessarily material ways. When you do practice the Tao of giving correctly, you end up with more, not less. It doesn't have to be something material because why not be giving of yourself in terms of encouragement to other people, in terms of blessings to other people that won't cost anything, and yet it adds value to life. Lastly, 转念, change your thoughts. Sometimes one shift in your perspective, that's all it takes. It can make all the difference in the world. So Dr. Wayne Dyer wrote Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. That's his book on the Daodejing. It is because throughout his life, Dr. Dyer realized the importance of being able to look at things differently and change your thoughts, to shift your perspective. And in fact, one of his other books is called The Shift. When we went through the story about the old frontiersman losing the horse, that actually illustrates this idea that you can change your perspective on an event. The event itself is exactly the same, but the meaning that you perceive, the meaning that you assign to it, can be dramatically different. This theme is central to the Tao. It's a skill in Tao cultivation. So I'm about to relate yet another story to illustrate that, which is very important in the study of the Tao. Before I leave this particular slide, I also want to mention that you can combine one or more of these ways together, two or more of these together, in increasing the water in your life and plugging the leaks. So think about this one example that combines a couple of these together. Think about a dad who is spending time with his young son, just quality time together, father and son. And father challenges the son to arm wrestling, just horsing around. And the dad makes a great show of straining against the smaller arms of the son, only to finally give out and losing, causing all kinds of laughter in the son, having a great time. When you look at this, you know that the dad is letting the son win. Why is he doing that? Well, because he wants to express his love for his child. He's letting the son win to spend quality time with the son, and he also takes tremendous amount of joy in the happiness of the son. When the son grows up and understands that actually his dad let him win, he is going to be understanding and grateful for having a wonderful dad. So the practice of gratitude, letting someone win because you are the bigger person, these are all in accordance with the Tao. These will all increase the water, so to speak. These will all plug the leaks. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us travel safely. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.